something that the Bond character is not such a shit, as it were. At the end of the day, it was to find humour for me, and it worked very well up to a point, you know.
What is fascinating about the Bond character is that he's fun, he's witty, he's dry, he's a killer, and you don't mind.
Well, it's surprisingly difficult to drive, but with practice...
Well, let's see how she responds to my touch, AQ. Think we understand each other?
Grow up, 007.
I think it should be quite funny. I think that part of the charm of Bond is that it's witty and funny. I like particularly saying, "Christ, I miss the Cold War." You know, I love that line.
And how the hell could Bond be so stupid? I give him 00 status and he celebrates by shooting up an embassy. Is the man deranged? And where the hell is he? In the old days, if an agent did something that embarrassing, he'd have the good sense to defect. Christ, I miss the Cold War.
When I was asked to play M, I can only think of Bernard Lee, so I'm kind of copying him.
Dushka, tell me the truth. Am I as exciting as all those Western girls?
Oh, once when I was with Am in Tokyo, we had an interesting experience.
Thank you, Miss Moneypenny. That's all.
Bond's gone on now for 40 years, and other actors have taken part. Why do you think its success is so enduring?
The ingredients are all there for the kind of movie that people want to see. It has very good entertaining value. For example, it's the spectrum of actors. I mean, from myself to Daniel Craig, who I thought was fantastic, marvellous in the part.
Daniel Craig said he saw all the films, but he took an immense amount from your films. I suppose nicked is a good word.
Yeah, well, I'm flattered. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's there to see, and it's the danger element, I think he really gets it.
Have you ever killed someone? Your training will tell you that when the adrenaline kicks in, you should compensate. But part of you is not going to believe the training because this kill is personal. Take a deep breath. You only need one shot. Make it count.
What's interesting about looking at movies for me is I remember all the nonsense that goes on before the take and after, rather than what's happening on the screen. I'll tell you something, and nobody's noticed it, but I do every time. When the Bond film comes in, it goes da-da-da-da-da-da, and then the character comes through, fires the gun at the lens. It's not me. For the first few, it was Bob Simmons, the stunt man, and every time I see it, I always think it's funny.
There's always been a desire from the public to have a James Bond, because I think, you know, with all the technology and everything, basically, it always does come down to a man risking his life, you know, on the ground.
So you've committed to quite a few more Bond films.
So they say.
On the grapevine.
So they say. I've yet to see the piece of paper. Of course, I have to. I have to sign a contract which commits me to. I think I'm committed to 4, which is including these 2. So, in theory, it would be 2 more. That's as I understand it. But of course, I'm realistic about it. I mean, you know, things go wrong. They might want to move on.
People always talk about getting trapped in a part and that sort of thing.
Too late, really, isn't it? And I walked over that threshold a while ago. People say that all the time. They say, you're worried about being typecast. I says, well, it genuinely is a very high-class problem to have, to be typecast as James Bond.
Yeah, but you've got an awful lot of work in your back pocket before you took this on.
I don't think I would have done it. I couldn't have done it if I hadn't done the stuff I'd done.
Your choice might seem to be very eclectic. You've been in some wonderful stuff.
I don't know if eclectic is a good word, is it?
I believe it. We'll change it. We'll redub this bit.
No,
your choice has been extraordinary.
Haphazard, I think, is the word you're looking for.
Right. Well, we try to be polite on the South Bank show. Do you think you will be not so much typecast as this will be haunted, yeah.
Yes, I think possibly, yes.
Yeah.
Success or failure, that's the way it is. But I understood that. I definitely understood that. I mean, whether I can cope with it, I don't know, but I thought it through before I took the job. I'm not turning down scripts because of this. I'm trying to steer clear of spy roles, but I mean, that's apart from that, I'm available.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
Well, tomorrow night here on ITV1, Mark Austin reports on the disappearance of Lucy Blackman in 2000, who was working in Tokyo. That's For Real Crime at 9. Coming up next, there are mind games going on in Numbers.
There's not enough for the both of us, it seems. So